Hello there, and welcome to another episode. And today I am starting off in the Gold XP farm. Now, because I have this Gold XP farm, I haven't actually used the Enderman farm. So you may have seen another video that I made, which is another farm that I converted the Enderman farm into. But for that, I need a certain item. And you may be wondering, why do I have a ton of books and diamond hose? And that's because I need to combine all of these up and basically give them all silk touch and unbreaking, and from there I will be able to basically leave that farm AFK. So let me just combine all these and then we'll head over to the farm. So this is what I replaced at my Enderman farm, and it is a Skulk Farm. And actually I designed this one myself from scratch, so I'm quite happy with that. It uses a basalt generator and just pushes them along, and I'm going to avoid picking up these ender pearls. But the part that obviously, most people have used some kind of generator to collect Skulk. I don't know why you would use your own blocks when that option's available. It seems kind of strange to me. But then I also have this, which is an automatic hose dispenser, and it will just keep dispensing the hose out while I stand there, and then I can obviously just fill my inventory with ender pearls. That way, any that I do accidentally pick up, which I don't now because of this big box that I put in the way, would then just go into my inventory and not take up the slot that I have for the hoe, and I don't pick up any other items. So I spent an entire night AFK in here successfully after the first night of having some issues, and that's mainly because of this. I resolved all of that, and now I have loads of Skulk. No, I'm just joking. It's not this box. It's these ones. So after essentially 2 nights AFK, but the first night was a bit questionable, I now have 85 shulker boxes of Skulk. But why would I possibly need any more than a couple of shulker boxes? Seems kind of strange. That's because I have a big project coming up, and I've decided to start doing parts of it over the course of these episodes, because I can't really do it all in 1 week in one episode. So I'm just going to do a bit each week, and then hopefully come the time when that project needs to be done, I'll actually have pretty much finished it, and then I can show it all in one episode. I'll just record clips as I go. I also have been working on getting some Skulk vein. It can be used for both, so I can just turn off the generator, break the first line of blocks. But yeah, so I have a tutorial out for that if anyone wants to know how it works. There's a bit more detail in there. And now I also had to put a regenerating beacon there because obviously I would die of hunger if I didn't. But now what I need to do is head back over to the Nether because I built another farm. This is a big day for farms, and I'm going the wrong way. And I'm back in the Nether because now I want to make another farm, and this one I am going to need is a piglin bartering farm. Now I've had a look for some online, and to be honest, I don't think any of them suit my needs. They're either too big and complicated, which uses a lot of resources, and I'm not going to build a gold farm that's suitable, or they're too simple. So I'm going to go with something in the middle, and you know what? I'm just going to make this one myself, play it by ear a little bit, and see how I do. Right, I am back, and I have been setting up this using some of the basic principles, and I actually designed this little system myself, which was quite cool. So obviously you got the ice path, and I have some crafters here. So the ones that are sticking out have crafters. I couldn't really get them in and have them ticking without it affecting this or affecting the other hoppers. So it's just a few items. I'm crafting some quartz, some wool, and they're not iron blocks, they're just iron bars. So what I've done here is obviously the typical sticky piston with slime block pushers. I came up with this by myself, which is quite nice, and to be honest, I happened to just get the right timings first time, which was very lucky. And to be honest, I don't really know how I did that. And I originally had all of the system up here for the I forget what it's called, the Etho hopper clock, but I actually moved it down here, and I was trying to get it to fit in whilst also being able to lock both sides out with one lever. And if you lock it, the issue is it's going to dispense 8 gold, so I didn't want to waste that 8 gold. So I also wanted to minimize the space used, and it's only 3 wide and well, I mean, there's a couple of blocks here, but technically it's 9 long. And there's only a few lines up, quite a few torches. So what happens is, when I flick this lever, you can see it's going at the moment. If I flick this lever, you should see now those are extended. And actually, what's going on here? Has this stopped working? Oh dear, it was working a second ago. Okay, I think I've actually got it this time. So I had to add in this line here in order to lock it out. Just one repeater and a few bits of redstone to lock out this one instead, because I couldn't get this one to do it from this torch. As well as now I have this line up here where I have these 2 redstone, which are powered by the torch under here, which when it is switched off will be in the on position, if that makes sense. And then this will switch off this redstone torch, allowing this one to turn on, which keeps this locked off, so it won't dispense any more gold once I lock the system. And it's all still within that area that I had, so I can actually block this up now. That should do it. Guess we'll find out if I come back and there's some mobs inside. Right, I've got all of the piglins in, so now it is time to test the system. Quite happy that is working. However, I do want to do a proper test. Let's just quickly have a look then. Did we get anything coming through? Oh, I've blocked all the chests, haven't I? Well, after a bit of AFKing, I am now stacked up on a lot of these items, and I still have quite a lot of gold up there from my 2 boxes. And I don't really need much more right now, but now what I need to do is start adding in the second gold farm. I have been mining up a lot of magma blocks because I only was left with, I think, 1.5 boxes. So now I have pretty much 12 boxes. I thought I had 12 boxes. Maybe I have one missing. Oh, yeah, it's because this one's not full. So I've got nearly 12 boxes of magma blocks, which should be enough for me to make this farm and have some left over and not have to ever mine them again. But you know how it is. Maybe next time I'll just decide to make a magma cube farm instead, because as quick as it is to mine it, it's still kind of annoying trying to find it down in the nether. And now I'm sitting here listening to these chickens, because as you can tell by the seagrass, I need turtle eggs. I don't think you can see it from over there, so I can't sleep. And that little fence in the back over there is basically where they are, and this is my original home that I was in. Yes, my turtle army. Tomorrow we march on the Empire. I have been working away on the collection system for the 2 gold farms I'm going to make, and I don't know if that's going to make any difference to the rates, but it can't hurt having the extra spawning spaces. And every time I'm doing one of these farms and I check the F3 screen, it never seems to quite reach the 70 mobs, so I guess just make it bigger. And I'm going to have 2 side by side, and I'll AFK up in the middle, and it's a simple... The hoppers go into 2 separate item sorters. Both of them are for gold nuggets, which get converted into ingots and sent across into the input chest for this farm. Now, I don't mind if it's not completely efficient. The idea is for it to be fully AFKable, not me have to go and AFK at one farm and then come back to this. If I want to do the bartering farm, I'm just going to be here. I managed to get one side of it built up, and it ended up being 20 layers, I think. 20 layers, which is a lot more than most other farms on YouTube actually advise to use. But I just wanted to make sure I was getting the mobs around that 70 mark all the time, and to be honest, I don't think I even need the second layer, because this seems to be working. But let's go down and see how many items I got. Now I can remember roughly what I had before. Oh, that's a lot of zombie piglins. How has a chicken ended up there? Right. Okay, so it's about 2 rows I got of quartz. Same for the wall. Iron, yeah, like a row and a half. So before these were... Okay, yes. Yeah, this will do nicely. I mean, I'm getting like 3 or 4 double chests of blackstone per night, and that was about 8 hours. And I also added in these lights just to signal where they go, and I think it looks quite cool. They glow quite a lot. And I have cleared out all of the mushrooms from both of these islands. I'm not going to do this island just yet, but I did actually think that I'm going to use some of the mushroom blocks. Not the red ones, but the brown and the white could be quite nice for some of the Tatooine houses. And just after clearing out those 2 islands, I do have quite a good supply of these now. I'm just going to jump in here, and we've got a couple of full boxes of each, and not too many stems, but it should be alright, and a few extra of the blocks here, and quite a lot of the red ones, but I won't be needing those. But right now, I actually need to upgrade the storage for my iron farm, because now that I'm checking it less and less, it keeps filling up, and then I forget, and I go and have a look, and it's right at the top. So I'm just going to set up a crafter in here, just to craft it, and also, I think I'm going to just get rid of these poppies, because to be honest, I don't need them. I already have a couple of boxes, and we can just set up an automatic farm with the rose bushes. Yeah, I've got 3 shulkers already. I don't need these. I'm going to just get rid of these, and I'm going to set up a little lava bucket to burn them when I don't need them. For a bit of reference, this little area here that I've done, now imagine on the scale of this whole island, that was an entire shulker box of sand. Oh my goodness, this is going to use a lot. I think I might have enough, but I can do a quick calculation. So let's say minus 100 all the way over to, yep, this is a decent sized island. In fact, it's 350 blocks long, and if we take the widest point, 525, and we go over here, so 350 by 150 we'll say. Now if I do a quick calculation, and that is actually 52,000 blocks, which is 30 shulker boxes, and I think I have about 22, so I probably don't have enough. So I better get on with this and speed things up. And it was at this point that I actually almost ran out of sand. That was 19 out of my 20 shulker boxes used, so I just decided to go and start grabbing some more so that I would just be able to continue on and finish up the rest of the sanding of this island. If you are like me and you hate having to go to your XP farm to fix up several tools because you wanted to use them all in one go, I cannot recommend any farm more than this. I mean, this is unbelievable. That's it. I stand here and watch how quickly, and my elytra's already fixed, watch how quickly it will repair these spades. I mean, I can't think of anything better. Ever since I've had this has been phenomenal. I just stand here and I just occasionally switch one of the tools out. But anyway, back to placing down some more sand. Is finally done, and I have sand everywhere in my clothes. No, but jokes aside, I actually now kind of understand, you know? After all of this,
I don't like sand.
I think Anakin was right. Sand is awful.
It's coarse and
Oh my goodness.
rough and irritating.
But this was a very monotonous project just to get all the sand in. But now we have a great canvas to start building up all of these Tatooine houses and buildings and other things. And I'm so done with sand that now I need to go get sandstone. Fantastic. Back to the desert for me. But I just wanted to take a quick look just to make sure. Actually, just let me show you this first. This is all empty shulker boxes, and these were all sand, minus these ones, and I had about 15 stacks just in a chest in there as well, so it's over 28 shulker boxes that I've used on this. So let's just take a look at my stats, and we go to items, and if we go to most used, there we go, my most used block, 49,000, so my calculations were not that far off, and I've actually mined 85,000. That is because all of these are still filled with sand, because when I went back to the desert I ended up getting like 20 shulker boxes just to make sure. I also used 1 and a bit shulkers of terracotta, and now this isn't actually like set, this isn't exactly how it's going to look. This was more of a basic placeholder for some more detailed terraforming when I start doing the areas. I didn't really want to get into that while I was placing down the sand because it was so long doing it all. And another thing I noticed in my stats while I was looking halfway through this project was if I go on to most used, I was just looking at what items I've used the most, and I was surprised to see written book 11,000, and I was sitting there thinking, how have I used a book 11,000 times? And then I remembered, it's the armor stats. I used 11,000 times to do all of that. That's nuts. That is so many. But now I need to go get sandstone so we can start putting the first building in. And you already know what the first building is going to be. There's only one thing you start with in Tatooine, where the movie started, where the whole series started. Luke Skywalker's house. Right, I'm ready to start building up his house. I've got some resources and marked out some areas, but also you may notice in the distance you can now see that and this base. That's because I actually just went through and just changed up some of the fabric mods. And before I was using Optifine in order to get the lightsabers to work, and then I was just doing the time lapses in Fabric for the replay mod. And it was just really annoying switching between both. And to be honest, I was starting to have some issues. You know, my frame rate was kind of suffering on 8 to 16 render distance. It just wasn't, I wasn't happy with it. And so I tried out a few things. And now for some reason, I think it's the sodium mod is, I can have it on 32 render distance, and I literally have no frame rate drops. This is fantastic. This is the best news ever. I did also try and get the Bobby mod to work just to see how far I could push it. But obviously you need to actually then fly over all of the chunks again. And I didn't really need it. I don't even need to see that island, so I'm probably going to have to build something over there. But I just wanted to be able to see all three islands together and see that in the background while I'm working. It's a good bit of motivation. But also, I kind of realised, now that I've done this island and I'm looking at that, that is a really small island. And just being over here makes this whole build just look so tiny. And knowing how much time I spent on it makes me wonder, how long is it going to take to do all of this? But yeah, so let's start laying out the design for this first house. So I'm going to need to actually break down some of this. So this is something I'm going to have to do as I go around the island anyway. I just laid out the basic foundation, and now I need to actually get the terrain how it needs to be for the different areas. So there's going to be a little bit of this as I go along. So now I should have enough space to make this part here. So the blocks I decided to go with on this, I believe it's like this and this. The reason I'm using the oak wood on the bottom is because I did try to go with all smooth sandstone. Unfortunately, it just kind of blends in, so I needed something to make it stand out. So yeah, I just wanted to have something that would stand out a bit from the sand on the floor, just so you can actually see the building, because when it was all smooth sandstone, it was just not visible. We want a couple of bits of the packed mud. So I'm just going to chuck a couple in here. And this just helps give it a little bit of a mixture. A bit of texture on there. So for the front, let's just start by placing these. And then we're going to fill in these gaps here. And place in some stairs. Just on the front here, we're going to have a stair like that. And then what we need to do is do the same thing on all of these sections. Fill in that. So these ones on the side obviously are filled in. I'm going to go retexture them soon as well. This is just to get the shape in so I can see what the texture I'm doing looks like. And now we need to go around here like this and place in a bunch of stairs to bring that in. That's the first layer done. Now we need a row of blocks here. And these are going to be blocks all the way around. So I'm just going to do it from the inside. So now that I have that row of blocks in, now I need to start doing the roof. Which will just be along like this, and I think we place a block there. And then we'll just need to go around. And why does that never let me place? I'm going to leave the back bit. It rains so much. I just start stopping the weather. And that is it. Simple as that. We've got the shape in. And you can't really tell because it's not textured. But it's the best I could do. I did try going a little bit bigger to say have a bigger entrance for a better shape. But unfortunately, this is more to the correct size. I mean, if you stand next to it, like I fit just in the doorway, which is correct. This little bit here doesn't really stick off the side of the door entrances, but I don't mind that so much. And now I just need to start adding in some textures for this, just to break up this sandstone and just give it a little bit of detail. And in order to do that, I have a few different types of blocks here. So we have the stripped birch to allow it to blend up a little bit better. And we have the birch stairs as well. So from here it will basically be birch with some little patches of the mud bricks. So I'm also going to get rid of this one. Also out the front there is a bit of a walkway for the entrance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these, we'll take the packed mud, I'm going to place that down the bottom here, and then I'm going to take some birch stairs and just go around like this. And then I kind of need to fill this area a bit more out with sand, flatten it out a bit. That way that is now dug into the floor. And now you can see just kind of how the front actually stands out a little bit more against the desert. It looks more like a building rather than just some blocks placed together. So I have all the different blocks in, but now I'm going to just go around and add in some sandstone instead of smooth sandstone, just to give a bit more texture. As you can see here, I think it just looks good mixed in. So if I put, say, one here, just on the entrance, so that's a bit less smooth. I'm going to put one here, and I've been trying to kind of connect up those areas just to make it look a bit more like patches rather than just random blocks of color in there. And there's really not going to be a lot of smooth sandstone left when I'm done with this. Alright, I think that's it. I think it's basically the shell is finished. Obviously I'm going to need to do the inside. And as you can see, there are two other markers that I've laid out for things. So, you know, if you've seen the films, then you'll know exactly what those are for. And I haven't actually designed those yet. This was just what I had time for after I did all that changing of my mods and settings. So now I actually need to dig out some holes and prepare an area. So I need to go grab my beacon. I have been digging, I have been designing, and I have been gathering up resources to start the, I don't know whether you'd call it the interior or the exterior, to be honest, because Luke's house has kind of like an interior that's outside. It's a bit weird, but we'll see how that goes. But also, I've been trying out some other things, you know, since I've been able to increase my render distance. I figured I would try and see what else I could actually load on my PC. And maybe you can tell from this, I actually got some shaders to work with fabric and sodium. And I'm just quite surprised it's actually loading this well. And I'm really quite happy with how it looks. I'm not sure if I'll play like this or record the clips like this, but it really does give a nice atmosphere. And, you know, the ships kind of stand out now. The laser blast for the red glass looks a lot better now as well. And I think in general, obviously it looks better at shaders. I mean, everyone knows that, but it's just a surprise to me that it actually worked for my PC. Maybe I underestimated it a bit. So maybe I'm actually going to have to try out one of the world eaters, because I thought my PC wouldn't be able to handle it, but I don't know, we'll see what I do. But now I have my hole. I have my two holes actually. I did originally connect it up here, but after designing the actual room out, I am actually moving the connection to somewhere around here, but you should be able to see that in a time lapse of me building up the exterior. And the room layout for the Lars homestead interior is finished now, and I'm really liking how it's looking. Even got these little moisture collectors in the middle here, and I was struggling a bit when I first started making this. I thought it was going to be impossible. Honestly, just trying to do some of these little angles and the staircases, it was awful. But once I stopped stressing about it and just got on with it, it's one of those things that I find a lot of the builds that I make, I can never get the angles right until I've made it wrong. It's difficult to explain, but I build it and I say, no, I don't like that. Let me try it a bit different. And I think every single building I've made in this entire world was all not anywhere near first try. It took multiple attempts to, even just this little house here, the little dome, just had to keep replacing blocks. But that will be everything for this episode. Next episode, I will be using some of these rooms to do something. I didn't just build this for nothing. And I think I'll save that for next episode because I haven't finished this entire area yet. I need to actually do in the tunnel. So if you come back behind this building, you actually have the tunnel going here, and it connects up to the dome, and it also connects from down here into the other hole that I made, which is going to be the like metal circle lid, and it's going to have the workshop in it. There is also one other room in the house that I don't think I'm going to do because it's the garage, and I couldn't find any pictures of it online, so it would just kind of be guessing, and I don't really need it anyway. But that will be everything for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next episode.